Yeah. So the presidential debates tonight, and what did you say, Faith?
It sounds boring.
Yeah. So it can seem so important, to the me that's wrapped up and has uh, I don't know, it's like a fascination or like everything that happens matters.
Well,
And
it's like watching a movie or something, yeah?
yeah, but your point was interesting because, like, what if it's for another country and you just don't give a shit? Let if Indonesia got a new governor today. Hey,
Yeah.
so it's just that, all these beliefs, all these stories that are held as real, you can't find them.
Mm. Yeah, but we enjoy a good story. Like, I enjoy watching a good movie or something. Huh?
Oh yeah, me too. I just watched Cary Grant in North by Northwest, a classic Hitchcock movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
He was good looking. Amazing. But it's not held seriously where the me takes its life seriously. It's not enjoyed like a movie, Faith.
Yeah.
It's a good point you're speaking, but the me that is watching the debate and taking it so seriously, like you're saying, that same me in the world of me can have a whole different kind of life depending on what happens in that debate. So I'm trying to figure out.
Right.
Yeah, so you get what I'm saying?
No, it's a good point, Don. Don's just pointing out that, of course, Michael, the me is going to be interested in the debate and how does it fit into my narrative? How does what happens there affect me?
So is there an effect? What you just said, yeah, in the context of what you're speaking about.
Well, then I'm saying that's what the me imagines. I that I need, it matters who wins the contest. It matters. So I need to see it to see how to make, plan accordingly, to my advantage. And that's the thing about, so, you know, without the me there, things are just very naked. Things are just, so a sound is just a sound. It's nothing more than that. So, but the me adds like a layer of story about how it's my sound or I don't like the sound, rather than just allowing the sound. There's just a sound. There's that judgment, and that judgment is the me. So rather than there just being a sound like a cloud, clouds come, and Nkosi talks about, right, clouds go. But not for the me. The me is that cloud shouldn't be there. Oh, that cloud I really like. That cloud can stay as long as it wants. So that's in a way what you're talking about, Don, is the me's already invested in the story already. The story already matters. So, I got to stay on top of it. It's a full-time job. And so this meeting is that there actually is, well, there's actually no one behind the story. you know, going back to your example about, you know, we care about a political affair if it's in my hometown and affects me, but if it's on the other side of the world, so that right there shows you that it's all about perspective. It's not really, you know what I mean? It's just a story can mean one thing to one and nothing to another. And so there's no actual real story of how it actually is. There's just the mental description and a liking or not liking. But there's nothing actually really there. There's nothing behind. There's no one behind this voice speaking these words. They're just words apparently coming out, and then there'll be a response of words there. So there's already no doer there. Already, no one's doing everything, because no separation. The me, you could say, to tell a story, requires or is separation. It is the insistence upon separation. And that's this too. That's kind of the dirty little secret, is even saying, no, I'm not this. I am separate. I don't feel connected. I blah, blah, blah. It's so free that it could claim to be not free. And who cares? See, it's just the stories change, but this never gets anywhere. So the me is always looking to like change the story, make it a better story, improve the story. So it's got no it's got no time for just this. Just what is of no interest, of no value to me, because I'm in time, and you know that clock's ticking, and I got to get there. So that's all a dream, because there already isn't any separation already. So there never was me in the first place. So that's why this, you know, this kind of a meeting doesn't solve anything. Because it's just saying there's only just what's happening. That's the beginning and the end. There's just whatever seems to be happening. But there's no one there that it's actually happening to. So this is an open meeting. Everybody's invited to participate. If you have a comment or question, please feel free to unmute and jump in. And I just want to say there's nothing wrong with, supporting political events, because that's this too. It's no problem. There's no problem with anything. You need a you need a me to have a problem. Life doesn't have a problem. I have the problem.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Nina.
It's Nina. Nice to be here. I look forward to these meetings. There's just, and I've been thinking about why. And I just feel like it's just the longing of the me, it it ends. It ends when in these meetings. And it's home.
Hmm.
It just, and I don't know what you want to call that. But it's just, it's present, and there's no desires. It just feels really good.
Yeah, you got it. That's the effortless part.
Yeah.
It's already this. It's already just what's happening. So that's why it's effortless, because you're not, no one's doing just who, the idea that I'm doing this is just a thought.
But it's easy to be here because we're reflecting back to each other that there's no one here.
Hmm.
It's easy.
Hmm.
But then I go out into, activities, world, other people, and they don't know that. They're not reflecting back. It just feels that way, that they think they are someone. And then it kind of feels like I'm a someone too. And then I come back here and I don't feel like anybody. Again, it's like I don't know what that's all about, but it's just what's happening. But I bring that resonance, I bring that sense of completion and fulfillment into the day. And I'm just, it's just, it seems to have an effect on the body, on other people, other bodies, it seems to have an effect.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means.
Well,
Just feels good.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. When someone's empty,
Yeah.
it's just a pleasure just to be with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's really all I have to say.
Oh, wonderful. As Nkosi would say, beautiful. Yeah, he'll tell you the same thing in that beautiful booming voice of his. There's nobody there either. You know, last week, Alice's friend asked Nkosi where he, when he got his enlightenment, or how it happened for him. And, he just laughed as he used to do and said, well, actually, I never got it. It was just somehow seen there's nobody here to ever get anything. Oh, you're muted, Nina.
So, but enlightenment, quote unquote, apparently happens, doesn't it? I see balloons. What's with all the balloons?
I don't know. Did you? Yeah,
I
no,
didn't do that.
that was beautiful. Yeah, well, here it's just, it's just shared that there's already nobody to become enlightened. That's
Correct.
that's the simple, it's not sexy, there's no bells or whistles. It's just there's just nobody there to get enlightened or not get enlightened.
There's apparent understanding for no one, right?
Well,
It's like a memory of this. Like, throughout the day, all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, this is it. This is all there is. It's like a memory comes back into the mind or back to awareness. And it just, oh, there it is. And it's like, where did it just came. And
right,
then,
but not really.
no, it's not coming and going.
And
No, it's just an appearance.
well, no, what we're talking about doesn't come and go.
Correct. Right. The pointing to this comes and goes.
Yeah, all words, all stories.
Yeah, the thoughts. Right, they're thoughts. They come and they go. Yeah.
Right, but there's nobody behind them. That's sort of the revelation for nobody. Is you're like, oh, son of a gun. Like it's like this blanket of ownership.
That is a really big one here. The ownership thing.
Yeah.
It still feels like there's a specialness going on. And I know it just feels, it's just a feeling. And yet, what's so special about a feeling? But it's convincing. And I see, and there's seeing of all of that. And yet, what there's nothing to do with these revelations.
Exactly.
What carry on, carry on the day, so to speak.
As long as there's a sense of a me there, the revelation, quotes and all the stuff will still seem interesting.
Like this meeting.
Well, there could be just a joy, just like a wordless resonance that goes, you just know you got to be here. Like it was just like I don't know how to say it. It's just like you feel compelled,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It makes it, the feelings here are joyful. And I know that this can appear as anything, including, not joy.
Yeah.
But when it does show up, that's where this gravitates. It gravitates towards the joy. It's like an attraction or something. I don't know what it means. It's just happening. It's like just what's happening, and it feels.
Yeah. So the difference is, like, if a shitty feeling shows up, that can be just what's showing up. Like, there's no sugarcoating it. You're not going, oh, there's no me, so it doesn't hurt.
Right. There's no sugarcoating anything. It's just, we're just real. I'm learning. I'm seeing the conditions of how I used to try to cover that up. Like there was a covering up of, the real, trying to look polite or courteous or kind.
Trying
There
to
was a
look
covering up.
Spiritual people don't lose their temper.
Right. But there's just a bubbling under, and I can walk in a room and I can feel somebody's angry. Or there's anger, but it's hiding. I don't know. Is that in me? Is that here? Is that just what's happening? Where's it coming from? The hiding of emotions. It appears that sometimes it's coming from another body, but is that a trick? Or is it just coming from nowhere? Or it's not coming from it's not coming from this body. It appears to be coming from another body.
Yeah.
But that's just another trick. I think it's just what's happening.
Well, yeah. So who's asking?
It's just a noticing.
No. I mean
Oh.
directly right now. Take a look and see who's asking that question. Where is that one?
Yeah, there's.
Because that's the thing. Those things.
It wants to come up with.
It can feel so real. It can feel like a burning. God, I gotta know. I gotta know the answer to this question. It's so, but then there's nothing behind the question. There is no person that it belongs to.
Mhm.
There's no owner of it.
Mm-hmm. And then the question just drops because there's no purpose in it.
Well, yeah, because the question needs a me to who it pertains to.
To be special. But questions aren't special, they're nothing. So there's no purpose in them. Like when it comes to the big questions in life, like the big questions. Who am I? Where am I going?
Oh,
Where did
yeah.
I come from?
Oh, yeah, the biggies. The
The
three
biggies.
biggies. Yeah. So those were the ones that I had as a kid, those three.
Mhm.
Who am I? What's my purpose? And who is God? Who did all this? Who designed all this? Where'd it come from? All that.
Yeah.
So those are all, you could say, legitimate questions for a seeker. And because you feel separate, it's completely understandable why that innocence would seek. Because something felt, at least here, something felt off. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something about life always felt off to me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's an agreement here. It's just an agreement. Yeah. Yeah, it's like searching for a friend in the world that to reflect back nobody. There's the balloon skin.
Yeah.
To reflect back nobody. And that was what was seeking here, was to see nobody. But all the bodies were pretending to be somebody. And I always I couldn't find what I was looking for. But I actually found a friend who's nobody, and it's amazing. Like, we're like, it's the end of us. It's the end of the us. It's kind of cool. It's like you and Nkosi. Is that how you say it?
Uh-huh.
It's like looking in the mirror and seeing nobody, and nobody seeing nobody, and there seems to be an agreement. Kind of neat. Anyway, that's just what's happening too. Like here, everyone is in the agreement that there's no one here. I'm just assuming that. That's just an assumption.
Well, they're both stories. There's someone
Right.
here is a story. There's no one here is a story.
Yeah. I guess it's the me within me that's still looking for something to hold on to, even though there's no me here. But they're still looking for something to hold on to. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that seeking energy can just be there. Like it doesn't,
It doesn't mean anything.
yeah, because it's like the clouds. You could say it's a story, but it'll take care of itself. Like that's the thing. You don't need to do anything about anything. And the me,
Yeah.
the me, you can't handle the truth. That the me that's what, when Tim Kliss talks about the me being redundant.
Yeah.
But it will tend to show up as it does, like the squirrels in the yard. I don't know. We have squirrels everywhere here, and they just kind of do what, they show up like the me, may seem like it's gone, and I feel it's no problem, and I'm so clear and no questions, and then the little squirrel pops up, and you can tell when that me has come into the yard because it's got a question. Another question. Oh, the question is here again. I'm free, but there's these new questions. Can we play with them or not? But that's just it's just the story showing up, but it doesn't really bring a me with it, right? Which is what, Nina, you're noticing.
Mhm.
It's harder to really buy into that story and ride the train of the story very much. You do it a little bit, but then that's, I don't know. Do other people recognize this too? I mean, this feels very natural to me. They just keep, they're like weeds in the garden or whatever, but you don't have to pick them because it's just, they're only there for the me, Anyway. But you can also just, as you are, I mean, Nina, you're becoming more sensitive to the storyness of these questions and how, well, is this a real question? It feels real, but is it really? Let me look at it again and see, who is it for? Who is asking the question, as Michael said?
Mhm.
Like you asked the question, what was it? Hiding the emotion. I feel I'm in the room and I feel this emotion, being hidden. Is it this person who's doing it? Is it me? Is it just showing up as a me? Well, does it matter? I mean, are those actually different things? They're just different stories.
Yeah, there's
And that's
no,
the way it is with everything. Yeah.
right. Interesting, very enlightening.
There's a story.
And Nina, when the
Like,
question
I
comes
got
up,
it.
Nina, when the question comes up, another question would be like, what will that do for me?
To
Yeah.
find the answer. Yeah.
Right. How's that gonna help me?
Yeah. No,
Right.
no. It has no significance. I
Yeah.
think it's just a
Well,
talking
it's gonna
point in a
help.
way.
It's gonna help the me, answers to questions. That's what the me is after. And so the me finds temporary relief if it finds an answer, and then until the next question pops up.
Right.
It never finds the answer. So it's just questioning.
Yeah, as latent as
Right.
you're putting.
Well,
Go ahead.
The answers would be stories. It comes up with assumptions and speculations, and comes up with a story,
Mhm.
an apparent answer, I guess one could say.
Right. But the energy behind all this is always from the me. Me is the motor, like Leighton is saying. Me is the one who wants the story and wants to get to the end of the story and get the answer and get the payoff. And that's the me is the producer of all of this, the one who keeps it strong and got the energy. But if you're starting to notice that all of this, and notice and seeing that, well, okay, the stories are showing up, but they're not for they're for the me, but the me isn't here. The me, it's like the stories are for the me, but they're only about the me and only concern the me, and there's no me here, and there's nothing here that is really relating to any me or concerned with stories. I mean, that's the big thing. That's the thing Michael is always pointing to. All these meetings are about.
Yeah.
The stories are not, there's nothing to them. There really isn't. Although it seems like it. As they pop up, it seems for a moment. Like a commercial that shows up on, these YouTube's thing. I don't have the Kirk ad block anymore. So I get these commercials and each one shows up like this is really important. This really means something. You want to pay attention to. And it's, about
It's a great opportunity to see through the lie, or whatever you want to call it, the false.
Yeah.
Seeing that it's all this equally.
Yeah.
So what do you call the one who is seeing this? So what you were saying, Dan and Nina, you're starting to see the me and starting to see the story. What are we calling that? It still gets back to whatever we say that is, will seem to fall into the duality because you're naming something. So I'm with you, but what do you?
It's a conscious. Is it the consciousness or the noticing?
So it's just noticing. There's no person noticing.
Correct.
So you can't even speak to that, right? If you tell somebody, well, just notice it.
Yeah.
Come back to your breath, so to speak. Use the meditation stuff, because that kind of.
It's all just words. It's all just words from it, like.
But you can, Don, you can notice this energy now of this question of, okay, but what actually is this? And what do we really call this? And what is actually really going on here? so I can really get at it,
Right.
and that's the me.
Yeah.
And that's the
'cause sink our
story
teeth
that,
in-
go ahead.
just saying, so we can sink our teeth in it, so to speak. It's
Well, not our teeth, well, the me.
no,
That's the
no.
me, the project for
It's-
the me. There is no our teeth. We don't have teeth.
No,
Yeah.
it's all these sayings that are conditioned in the mind. You can't talk about this. I know. I mean,
Oh.
I don't know, but you just can't talk about it.
But in a way, one thing that also we could say is that this questioning, it seems in a way, maybe in another way not, but in a way, it's sort of a distraction from what it is already.
It's
The
already here.
distraction from the already, because the already doesn't have a question to it, and it doesn't have anything that we need to get to by knowing anything. And the job, we could say, of the me is to keep bringing up these questions and keep taking us on journeys. I'm just, using this
Yeah.
image.
Yeah.
And we're kind of blowing the cover on that in a way here.
Yes.
And yeah, it does feel good. It feels good to share that. And it is a kind of specialness. I like the word, this word special is really interesting to me, because that also is the me. The me is the one who's special, and you could say, well, okay, what's special about this, about what it's already, what doesn't have, it's the opposite of special. It's just what is already. But at the same time, there is a kind of specialness, about this kind of communication, this kind of sharing, that's not like what goes on at Starbucks or whatever.
Feels
In a way.
different.
Yeah,
It appears different. Now, is that a trick to say, oh, there is separation? Like, it's convincing.
yeah, no.
Even though there's nothing different happening, really.
Yeah, that's the paradox. No, but there's no specialness here that isn't everywhere. Especially at Starbucks. We should get them to sponsor us.
There's another thing that's coming up is the empty full. And it's like out during the call and after the call, there's just more emptiness, but it feels full, like completely fulfilled. And then the mind says, but that's because you just went to a meeting. Right? It creates a story. And
Well, the mind always has the judgment. So just the whatever can arise a feeling about, oh, it was an enjoyable meeting. But then comes the critic, the commentator.
yes.
Yeah. And so that's the me. That's its adding its 2 cents. So it's the difference is watching just the clouds come and go on their own versus like criticizing certain clouds and saying, oh, that's a stupid cloud. Or that cloud's a problem. oh, it's dark, it may rain. That's bad for me. I got plans. So that judgment, I'm not good enough, I'm not there. That can here, that was felt as exhaustion. I just couldn't do it anymore because I just didn't know whether to turn left or right. And I read all the books, tried all the gurus, and nothing worked.
And that was the end of you, so to speak.
Well, it wasn't, I didn't, but I couldn't make myself see that nothing works. It was just somehow it was just seeing nothing works.
Right.
And not to be too cosmic or anything, but there's nothing that says the meeting has to end or end at 7 o'clock or not be continuous with everything because it's really timeless. So the story of the meeting ended or that thing happened in the meeting and is this an effect of that or is this, that's the questioning again, which doesn't go anywhere because it's
Yeah.
already here.
The appearances appear to disappear,
Yeah.
right? It's like this meeting will appear to disappear. And then the mind wants to talk about it. That's not it. Like
Right.
it is
But-
it, but
Yeah, but it doesn't really disappear because, I mean, maybe
Right.
the meeting will disappear, but then there's another story, another appearance. So what,
Mhm.
what it is going on with more characters and more thoughts and questions and stories or not, or whatever.
yeah, it doesn't have to look like it's anything
No,
specific.
and this never really does look like anything. I mean, it never looks like anything. And I think that's part of what we're pointing and talking to here. So
It doesn't really.
nothing is
doesn't-
needed.
Mm.
I talked over you.
Like nothing exists the way you think it exists. Whatever you're talking about, another person, whatever you're thinking about another person has absolutely nothing to do with the other person.
Correct. Right. Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. That's all I can say.
And any thinking that you do about yourself has nothing to do with you either.
Yeah, it's just in your own little
Bingo. That comment should have had lots of balloons. Somebody's
Yeah. What's with the AI
Yeah.
balloons?
they're sleeping on the job.
Yeah, that's happening more and more with the balloons. I know it's just a story, but it just seems to be happening more. Like bubbles coming through and in different, yeah, it's just interesting. What's happening?
Hmm.
It's just unexplainable. And it's not linear and
Yeah, it just won't be pinned down.
right.
And that's all the me's trying to do is pin the sucker down. Just if I could just tell me, give me the secret, the Nkosi level knowledge.
And that's all the stories are for. Just pin everything down. Let's get everything straight. Let's figure out where everything goes and where it is, where it's going and how. Let's get this. Yeah.
And good, Dan. And notice that even the question already presupposes so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's a context. The me the me provides sort of an invisible context to all your questions, so they all feel very important and make complete sense somehow. And that whole setup is illusory. There's nothing like that. The questions are just appearing. Maybe an answer will arise. Maybe we'll laugh.
Well, as John pointed out so perfectly, even without the balloons, my story is not about me. It has nothing to do with me. My story is my story, but it doesn't concern me. It's not about me. Never is. Already.
Hi, Nkosi, welcome.
Hi, Michael. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Nkosi.
So
I guess.
We were talking about how the storyteller already isn't.
neither is the story.
Nothing happening. Yeah, the story is really nothing. And what seems to be a separate somebody who has a story is already nothing. So this, what is nothing being everything. It cannot be known, it cannot be understood. It can never really be gotten because it's already everything. You know, there is no separation. There is already no knower to know this. There is already no separate self to find this. There's only ever this. You know, all there is this. So, which may seem to appear as somebody who's looking for this, searching, confused, wondering, telling a story, thinking of going to the loo. No, it's it's already everything. It's already everything. So this doesn't mind. It doesn't really mind because every expression is already this. You know, this may appear to express as a bird flying, a car hooting, leaves falling. You know, it may appear as anything. You know, it's already everything. It's really, it can never really be described. Because even the one who may seem to be describing is already an expression of this. Even the one who maybe it may seem as if somehow the one is misleading, you know, it's already this appearing as that. You know, it's everything. And this right here doesn't know anything, you know, doesn't claim to have great knowledge, you know. This right here is nobody. No, there's just talking happening. And this talking happening right now is not directed to anybody. This isn't trying to help anybody already. Because it's already everything. It's already whole and complete. This is already empty and free to appear as anything, to even appear as a story, appear as somebody who's talking about something, who's trying to get to or is trying to get from A to B. So really, it can't be said. It can't be. There is no escape already. There's really no talking about this. You know, there's just this. There's nothing happening. This isn't moving. Just this is already whole and complete. Nothing needs to be added here. It's not the thing that can be pointed at. So it doesn't mind because it's already everything. It doesn't see the other. It's not even an it, it's this is not even this. And there is nobody here who's even listening. And there's nobody here who's even talking. There's nobody here to get to a certain position or to reach the pinnacle of the mountain. I'm getting closer to this is a thought or an imagination appearing in this. It's an imagination that has to do with being somebody who's separate. That I'm getting closer now. Oh, I'm feeling it. It's in my blood. That's just a story appearing in this.
This is my blood.
So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. This, which is already nothing, is beautiful to nobody, for nobody. This doesn't contain an individual. There's no individual already. There's no story already. The story is imagined. There is no Wednesday already. Wednesday is just a story. There is no time. This is already timeless. This is already ageless. This is already deathless, birthless. This isn't a human being. It's not a man or a woman. This isn't a story. And this isn't trying to convince anybody. Because there's nobody here. This isn't a teaching. So yeah, that's
Are there any last comments or questions before we close out this evening?
Gratitude.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate each and every one of you in Nkosi. No words. Good night, everybody.
I
All right.
Good night.